Hi, so now we're in the third part of this unit. This will be finishing up electrochemistry. So we're going to talk a little bit about electrolytic cells, which are very similar to voltaic cells. The difference is energy is going to have to be applied because they are non-spontaneous. In this first picture we see some water bottles with different colors. This is a technique that uses electrolytic cells. We call this anodizing. So the bottle was an anode at one point in time before we were able to change the color from silver to one of these other colors. So we'll talk about that later on as we go through this unit. Okay, the question you need to be able to answer is, what's the difference between a voltaic cell and an electrolytic cell? Okay, a voltaic cell will produce energy, whereas an electrolytic cell will use energy in driving the chemical reactions. Okay, this process that uses electrolytic cells is called electrolysis. Okay, so we have electrolysis right here. Okay, we know if we split this word, lysis, does anybody know what lysis is? You might have learned that in biology. To cut. Okay, electro must have something to do with electricity or electrons. So we're using basically electrons to cut. So our electrons are our knife, if you want to think of it that way. And we're using it to cut things, okay? So in other words, a lot of times electrolysis is the splitting apart of a chemical compound and making something new, okay? So that's where the word comes from. Okay, some of the uses, you see this tea set here. This actually is not pure silver, it's plated, okay, which means that you have another metal underneath it, and this has been dipped into a silver solution, and we have putting electricity on it and use this as maybe an anode or a cathode, and then the silver plates on it. Okay, we do that with gold-plated objects, chrome-plated objects that might be on an automobile, and this right here, the silver-plated dishes. Okay, there's some applications. As I said, the electrolytic cell utilizes energy. Okay, so we have to, because the chemical change just like we did in a voltaic cell, but we apply electrical energy. In a voltaic cell, we produced electrical energy. So we convert it, in a voltaic cell, we convert it chemical energy to electrical energy. In a electrolytic cell, we're actually using electrical energy to drive the chemical change. So we use electrical energy to make a non-spontaneous redox reaction go to completion. So we're using energy to change something that normally doesn't occur. So this is kind of like when you also recharge batteries. You're actually doing that. Okay, so here's our two cells. The difference we can note also in a voltaic cell, we either have a salt bridge or a porous membrane where ions can go across, okay, so that they're attracted to either the anode or cathode respectively as the electrons flow through wire and are used to do some sort of function like make a light bulb light. In an electrolytic cell, you'll notice a little interesting thing. The signs have changed. Okay? And if you look at why, you have to look at the battery. Kind of, if you look at this, the plus is the anode is just extending the plus of the battery, and this cathode is extending the E of the battery. So this then gets negative, and it attracts positive ions from solution, which are reduced. And this is basically, as that's being reduced, it sucks some more electrons up, and this is more positive. So it's going to go the negative ions go over here. Now there's no need for a salt bridge because you're using the same thing. So what's going to happen is these negative ions will come over this way as we're taking electrons off, okay, because we're probably producing something in solution as this oxidizes, okay? Okay, as I said, voltaic cell, spontaneous redox reaction, electrolytic cell, there's an outside power source. So it's non-spontaneous, okay? And as I mentioned before, in this process, we had an anode was negative and the cathode was positive, but in an electrolytic cell, it reverses. Okay, so if you see that marking, you could also tell you what type of cell you have. In electrolysis, an electric current is used to do which of the following? Think about that. You'll see this on Educanon, and we'll go over that in a second. Okay, I'm back. Let's see what the answer is. Yes, it can cause chemical change. Very good.